I have an offer for you. Not something loud, not something wrapped in promises of overnight success. This offer is simple, but it's heavy. It asks for your honesty. It asks for your patience. It asks whether you're willing to stand up again after life has knocked you down more times than you can count. I've learned that strength isn't about how hard you hit back. It's about how long you keep walking forward when no one is clapping, when no one sees the struggle, when the world expects you to quit quietly. This offer is not for comfort, it's for growth. It's for those who are tired of pretending they're fine and ready to become real, disciplined, and unbreakable. If you're looking for shortcuts, this offer isn't for you. But if you're ready to choose character over applause, consistency over excuses, and purpose over fear, then stay with me. Because this offer could change the way you see pain, success, and yourself forever. I have an offer, and it's not shiny, it doesn't come with applause, and it doesn't promise that life will suddenly become easy. This offer is quiet. It shows up early. The morning when your body wants rest and your mind wants excuses. It waits for you in moments when no one is watching, when the phone is off, when the room is empty, and the only witness to your choices is you. This offer asks you to choose discipline over comfort, not once, not when it feels good, but every single day, especially when it doesn't. Most people want comfort first and results late. This offer reverses that order. It tells you that comfort is a reward, not a starting point. That if you keep chasing what feels good, you'll spend your life running in circles, always busy, always tired, but never fulfilled. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't ask how you feel today. It simply asks if you are willing to do what needs to be done, even when your heart is heavy, even when your energy is low, even when yesterday defeated you. This offer understands something most people ignore. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline stays. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when hope feels distant. Discipline is what keeps you moving when passion goes silent. It's not glamorous. It doesn't post pictures. It doesn't ache speeches. It just works, quietly, patiently, building a future you won't recognize at first. You see, discipline is not punishment. It's respect. It's the way you tell yourself that your life matters enough to be handled with care. Every small act of discipline is a message you send inward, saying, I can be trusted, I don't quit on myself, I don't need an audience to stay committed, and me, that message changes how you stand, how you speak, how you face pressure, how you face loss. This offer also comes with loneliness. When you choose discipline, you will outgrow certain conversations, certain habits, certain people. You won't fit into rooms built on excuses anymore. You won't laugh at jokes that make weakness sound normal. And that distance can hurt. But discipline teaches you that being alone for a while is better than being surrounded by distractions that slowly steal your future. There will be days when discipline feels pointless, when progress is invisible, when effort doesn't seem to pay back immediately. This offer warns you about those days. It tells you that growth is often silent before it's visible. Roots grow in darkness before anything breaks the surface. If you quit too early, you'll never know how close you were. Discipline asks you to stay, to repeat, to trust the process even when the process feels empty. This offer doesn't remove pain. It gives pain direction. It turns suffering into training. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Discipline teaches you to ask, what is this building in me? Strength is not born from easy seasons. It's carved out of repetition, restraint, and responsibility. Discipline makes you dangerous in a calm way, grounded, steady, unshaken by chaos because you already mastered yourself. And the truth is, no one can force you to accept this offer. It won't chase you. It won't beg you. Comfort will always be louder. Distraction will always be easier. Discipline just waits patient, knowing that one day when you're tired of starting over, tired of explaining why you didn't follow through, tired of seeing potential fade into regret, you might finally be ready to choose it, to wake up and say, today I honor my word to myself. Today I show up even if I'm not perfect. Today I take one step forward without needing permission, without needing validation, without needing to be seen, because this offer was nev. or about impressing the world. It was about becoming someone you can live with when everything else is gone. When the noise fades, when the lights go out, when all that remains is who you built yourself to be through the quiet, disciplined choices you made when no one was clapping and no one was coming to save you, and you finally realized that this offer was always waiting for the moment you decide. Had to stop negotiating with your potential and start walking toward it without excuses, without delays, without needing tomorrow to begin. Because today was always enough to start. And discipline was never asking for perfection. It was asking for commitment and consistency and the courage to choose growth over comfort. Again and again and again you have an offer, and this one doesn't shout, it doesn't interrupt conversations or fight for attention. It doesn't compete with trends or beg to be noticed. This offer is silence, not emptiness, not weakness, but intentional silence. The kind that forces you to hear yourself clearly for the first time. The kind that removes the noise so you can finally tell the difference between what you want and what you've been told to want. Noise is comfortable. Noise keeps you distracted. It fills the space so you don't have to think, don't have to feel, don't have to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. This offer asks you to step away from that, to stop explaining yourself to everyone, to stop reacting to every opinion, to stop proving your worth out loud. Silence is where clarity lives, but clarity is uncomfortable because it tells the truth without softening it. In silence, excuses don't survive. There's no audience to impress, no argument to win, no validation to collect. There is only you and the reality of your choices. Silence shows you patterns you didn't notice when life was loud. It reveals where your time goes, where your energy leaks, where your discipline breaks down. And most people run from this moment because it feels like standing alone under a bright light with nowhere to hide. This offer understands that strength doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes strength looks like restraint, like listening more than speaking, like letting others talk while you observe, like walking away without announcing it. Silence teaches you control, and control is power. When you don't need to respond to everything, when you don't need to correct everyone, when you don't need to explain your path, you become harder to shake, harder to provoke, harder to manipulate. There's a reason growth often happens quietly. Seeds don't make noise underground. Muscles grow while you sleep. Healing happens when the world slows down. Silence gives your mind space to recover from constant input. It sharpens your instincts. It trains you to act from intention instead of impulse. When you live in noise, every reaction feels urgent. In silence, you learn patience, and patience changes how you move through challenges. This offer doesn't mean disappearing forever. It means choosing when to speak and when to stay still. It means understanding that not every thought deserves an audience, and not every plan needs approval. Silence protects why. Our vision, while it's still fragile, it keeps your goals safe from doubt, criticism, and comparison before they're strong enough to stand on their own. You'll notice something strange when you accept this offer. The less you talk, the more people listen when you finally do. Your words carry weight because they're not wasted. Your presence feels grounded because it's not desperate for attention. C. Lens gives your actions room to speak, and actions are harder to argue with. There will be moments when silence feels like isolation, when it feels like you're being overlooked or misunderstood. This offer prepares you for that feeling. It reminds you that being unseen is not the same as being insignificant. Sometimes it's preparation, sometimes it's protection, sometimes it's the calm before a version of you emerges that doesn't need to announce itself to be felt. In silence, you start to hear your intuition again, not the loud fear-based voice, but the steady one that knows when to push and when to wait. Noise drowns that voice out. Silence brings it back. And once you learn to trust it, you stop chasing every opportunity and start choosing the right ones. This offer asks you to trade noise for depth, to trade reaction for reflection, to trade constant expression for intentional action. It's not an easy exchange. The world rewards loudness, it celebrates visibility, but silence builds something deeper, something durable, something that doesn't collapse when attention shifts or applause fades. And the truth is, silence won't make sense to everyone. Some will mistake it for weakness. Some will project their own discomfort onto your calm. Let them. This offer was never about convincing anyone. It was about strengthening your inner foundation so solidly that external chaos loses its influence. So your direction doesn't change every time the world speaks louder than your purpose. So you learn to move with certainty without needing to narrate every step, without needing to explain why you're choosing a quieter road without needing permission to grow privately, because the strongest transformations often happen away from the spotlight, in the still moments, in the spaces between words, where noise can no longer reach you and silence finally teaches you who you really are. I have an offer, and it comes with pain. Not random pain, not meaningless suffering, but pain with purpose. The kind that teaches instead of destroys, the kind that shapes instead of breaks. This offer doesn't pretend that life will be gentle with you. It respects you enough to tell you the truth. Pain is unavoidable, but wasted pain is optional. Most people run from pain as if it's an enemy. They numb it, hide it, distract themselves from it, hoping it will disappear if ignored long enough. This offer asks you to do the opposite, to face pain directly, to study it, to understand what it's trying to teach you. Because pain is information. It shows you where you need to grow, where you've been careless, where you've been strong without realizing it. Pain with purpose changes the question from why is this happening to me to what can I become because of this. It stops you from seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and starts turning you into a student of experience. Every failure, every rejection, every loss becomes a lesson instead of a label. You stop defining yourself by what hurt you and start defining yourself by how you responded. This offer doesn't romanticize suffering. It doesn't say pain is beautiful. It says pain is useful if you're willing to stay present through. Growth hurts, change hurts, letting go hurts, discipline hurts. But so does staying the same, so does regret, so does looking back and realizing you avoided the very challenges that could have shaped you into someone stronger. Pain is part of the price, whether you move forward or stay still. This offer simply asks you to pay it wisely. When pain has purpose, it stops being chaos. It becomes raining. You begin to recognize patterns. You see how every hard season strengthened a different part of you. One taught patience, one taught humility, one taught resilience, one taught compassion. Without those moments, you wouldn't have the depth you carry now. You wouldn't understand struggle in others. You wouldn't have the calm that comes from surviving things you once thought would end you. This offer reminds you that comfort never built character. Comfort never asked who you really are. Pain does. Pain strips away the performance. It removes the masks. It leaves you face to face with your limits, and then quietly asks if you're willing to go beyond them. And when you do, even just a little, you discover strength you didn't know existed. There will be moments when pain feels unfair, when it feels personal, when it feels like you're carrying more than your share. This offer doesn't deny that feeling. It acknowledges it and still asks you to stand, to keep your integrity, to keep your compassion, to not let bitterness take root. Because pain can either harden you or deepen you. The choice is made in how you respond when no one is watching. Pain with purpose teaches you restraint. It teaches you not to lash out, not to blame, not to collapse. It trains you to breathe through pressure, to move slowly when emotions are loud, to make decisions from clarity instead of anger. That kind of control is rare. That kind of control changes everything. This offer also teaches you empathy. Once you've carried real pain, you stop judging others so quickly. You understand that everyone is fighting something you can't see. You become quieter, kinder, more grounded, not weak but aware. Aware that strength doesn't need to dominate to prove itself. Over time, you start to notice something shift. The things that once scared you don't have the same power. The fear of failure fades because you've already survived worse. The fear of judgment weakens because pain taught you that opinion don't heal wounds or build futures. You become harder to intimidate, not because you're aggressive, but because you're experienced. This offer doesn't promise that pain will end. It promises that pain will stop being pointless, that every scar will carry meaning, that every hard moment will leave you wiser instead of bitter, that you won't waste your suffering by letting it turn into resentment or self-pity. And slowly, without noticing at first, you stop asking for a life without pain and start asking for the strength to carry it well. You stop wishing things were easier and start becoming stronger. You stop needing guarantees before you move forward. Pain with purpose teaches you how to walk without certainty, how to keep your values intact under pressure, how to stay steady when life tests you repeatedly, how to transform wounds into wisdom, how to let hardship refine you instead of define you, how to carry pain without letting it leak into cruelty, how to stand with quiet dignity even when everything feels heavy, how to keep going not because it's easy, but because meaning is worth the wait. And this offer was never about avoiding pain. It was about becoming someone who can set riot and still move forward with intention, with clarity, with strength, and with purpose.